This video covers the unsettling disappearance of a pregnant woman named Shannon Watts. The footage you're about to see was the last known video of her before she vanished. It all began shortly after she returned from a business trip. Early that morning, Shannon's friend and co-worker dropped her off at home. But not long after, both Shannon and her two young daughters were reported missing. Concern grew quickly when Shannon missed a scheduled OBGYN appointment and stopped responding to texts. She also failed to attend a business meeting, which prompted her friend Nicole Atkinson to visit the Watts home. When no one answered the door or the doorbell, Nicole contacted Shannon's husband, Chris, who said he was at work. She then called the Frederick Police Department for a welfare check. When an officer arrived, there was no sign of Shannon or the girls. Her purse, keys, and medication were still inside the house. Her phone was later found tucked between the couch cushions. Even more alarming, her car was still in the garage, with the children's car seats inside, and her wedding ring was discovered on the bedside table. By the next day, the FBI and Colorado Bureau of Investigation joined the search. Chris claimed he had no idea where his family had gone and told authorities the last time he saw Shannon was when he left for work previous morning.
Wow. What's going on right now around your house?
Right now you got K9 units, the sheriff's department. Everybody's like they're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent, see where they went. If they went on foot, they went in a car, or they went somewhere. And right now it's just like they've been on point. They're going through the house trying to get a scent, and hopefully they can pick something up to where it's going to lead to something.
He begged his wife and daughters to return home in tearful interviews with local news stations, KMGH-TV and KUSA-TV outside the house. Behind him, search dogs were already being used by detectives to comb the site.
And so, how many times did you try calling her?
I called her 3 times, texted her about 3 times just to say, maybe she was just busy, like she'd just gotten back, like everybody's probably calling her from her trip. She just got back from Arizona, and I figured she was just busy. But when her friend showed up, that's what it was like, it registered like, all right, this isn't right. I hope that she's somewhere safe right now and with the kids. But I mean, could she just taken off? I don't know, but if somebody has her and they're not safe, like I want them back now.
I'm gonna ask some kind of tough questions about your relationship with your kids.
My kids are my life. I mean, those smiles light up my life. I just want them back. I just want them to come back.
Following that, Chris Watts took and failed the polygraph exam. He then cracked and admitted to unaliving Shannon to his dad, Ronnie, and later to detectives.
And kids were reported missing. Police searched his house, including the bedroom where he murdered little Bella. He pretends to be distraught over the disappearance of his family.
I can't imagine what you're going through right now.
The house, I couldn't sleep at all last night. I missed them throwing chicken nuggets at me, honestly, last night.
Police were suspicious. At headquarters, he was given a lie detector test, which he failed.
Did you physically cause Shanann's disappearance?
No.
When confronted with inconsistencies in his story, Watts asked to speak to his father and whispered his confession as police watched from another room.
Chris initially claimed he unalived Shannon in a fit of rage after allegedly witnessing her smother their daughters. However, as the investigation unfolded, that story quickly fell apart. Authorities later discovered Shannon's body buried in a shallow grave on the property of Anadarko Petroleum Corporation, the oil and gas company where Chris was employed. That same day, the remains of the couple's 2 daughters, Bella and Celeste, were found inside nearby oil tanks just a short distance from Shannon's burial site. The gruesome discovery left investigators and the public horrified, revealing the heartbreaking truth behind the family's tragic disappearance.
Did you have to push or anything, or?
Not really.
There's no chance that you put them in there when they're still alive, is there?
No, God, no.
An autopsy later confirmed that Shannon had been strangled, while Bella and Celeste had been smothered, both with Chris's own hands. He was arrested and charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 3 counts of tampering with a deceased body. During questioning, Chris told investigators he had asked Shannon for a separation and claimed that afterward he saw her allegedly attacking one of their daughters, prompting him to retaliate. But the evidence didn't support this story. Authorities found inconsistencies throughout his account, and the truth eventually emerged.
The dramatic moment cops confront Chris Watts' mistress after he murdered his pregnant wife and 2 daughters to start a new life with her.
Why would you wipe out your family to be with me?
The just-released video shows 30-year-old Nicole Kessinger being interrogated.
Did you ever say anything to him about,
Never.
anything about his kids being a problem? Anything about his wife being a problem?
Never.
You mentioned Bella was first. Cece was first, okay. Where exactly was she when it happened?
In the back seat.
Okay, was she just right next to Bella?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so once again, was it a hand over her face? Was it?
There was a blanket over and my hand.
And then your hand, okay. And then so that just stopped her from breathing type thing?
She said, "No, Daddy." And that's the last thing she said.
Chris's motive, though horrifyingly simple, was chilling. Chris was actually having an affair with a coworker. However, could adultery ever excuse killing your own household? No one can ever really comprehend the agony of it. On a cold afternoon in November 2014, 12-year-old Tamir Rice was playing alone outside the Cuddle Recreation Center in Cleveland, Ohio, holding an airsoft gun that lacked the required orange tip. From a distance, it looked real. A 911 caller reported a man with a pistol, but made it clear twice that the gun was probably fake and the person was likely a juvenile. That crucial detail never reached the officers dispatched to the scene.
Probably a juvenile, you know? And he keeps pulling it out of his pants. I don't know if it's real or not. Okay, we're gonna count it.
Within seconds of arriving, Officer Lohman opened fire, striking 12-year-old Tamir Rice in the abdomen. The shot caused devastating internal injuries, tearing through vital organs, blood vessels, and bone. He was rushed to Metro Health Medical Center, but despite every effort, Tamir died the following day. What made the tragedy even worse was what happened after the gunfire. Neither officer checked Tamir's vital signs nor attempted to render aid. For nearly 4 minutes, the child lay on the ground alone, bleeding. It wasn't until an FBI agent arrived that anyone tended to him. Emergency medical services didn't reach the scene until 8 minutes after the shooting, even though Officer Garnback had called for help repeatedly. As if that weren't enough, Tamir's 14-year-old sister, who had come running in panic, was tackled, handcuffed, and detained. Their mother, Samaria Rice, was threatened with arrest if she didn't calm down. In every way, the handling of the aftermath only deepened the wound, compounding the trauma for a family that had just lost their young one.
A lot to deal with, America has taken away from me of what my son would look like as a teenager and a young man and even an old man. I don't know what my son gonna never look like. I only got the vision of him being 12. So that's a lot of pain that I deal with on a daily basis as I see other children growing, other little boys playing and kids playing. It's hard sometimes. It's very hard.
The case eventually went before a grand jury, but in a deeply controversial decision, the jury declined to indict either of the officers involved. This ruling sparked nationwide outrage and reignited debates over policing, race, and accountability. The Department of Justice opened its own investigation, and after a 5-year review, announced on December 29, 2020 that it would not pursue federal charges. Prosecutors cited a lack of sufficient evidence, pointing to the grainy, non-continuous security footage and conflicting interpretations of Tamir's movements. Though all agreed his hands were near his waist, still, what made the outcome even harder to accept for many was the officer's troubling histories.
As I'm driving through there, following, I keep telling my rookie, I go, he's gotta run. be prepared, he's gonna run. As I get closer and closer, the kid stops and turns and faces us. At this time, I can hear patrolman yelling, "Show me your hands, show me your hands, show me your hands." I can see through here the kid reaching, pulling.
Here, make the short. Yeah, take time.
I didn't know it was a kid. I could see him pulling the gun out of his waistband. I don't know if I was in the car or out of the car. I can still see him through the window. I heard 2 shots. How many shots?
Officer Lohman in particular had been previously deemed unfit for duty at another police department due to emotional instability and poor judgment, issues that were well documented before he was hired in Cleveland. For Tamir's family and countless others, the decision felt like yet another painful failure of the system, one that left a youngster perished and no one held accountable. Officer Garmick faced administrative charges for failing to use appropriate tactics such as driving over the curb and within feet of Tamir and failing to notify dispatchers upon arrival. Officer Lohman was fired for hiding details on his application, especially leaving out a prior resignation from the Independence Law Enforcement Agency following a dangerous meltdown during firearms training due to psychological trauma.
First you see him, the male matching description, but then you see the gun, and then now he's, walking away, and now, he's presenting the gun, he's pulling out his waistband, so your levels were getting higher and higher and higher, and the threat just became incredible, where, I had to, make the decision fast because Frank and I were in immediate danger. If the subject did pull out the gun and present it and point it towards us, I would have been shot, and possibly my friend, my partner would have been shot, especially due to the close proximity that we were at. We were easy targets, and plus I was stuck in the doorway and my partner was still seated in the driver's seat.
In 2016, the city of Cleveland agreed to a $6 million settlement with the Rice family, paid in 2 installments of $3 million. Of that, $5.5 million went to Tamir's estate, while his mother and sister received $250,000 each. The settlement included no admission of wrongdoing, but marked the largest payout in the city's history at the time. Amid intense legal and public pressure, the case had exposed a cascade of systemic failures, from the 911 dispatcher's omission of key details like Tamir being a child and the gun likely being fake, to the tactical decision by officers to pull up right next to him, giving themselves no time or space to assess the situation. The dispatcher was later suspended for a role in the miscommunication. Body cam and surveillance footage showed the shooting happened within 2 seconds of the officers exiting their vehicle, leaving no room for de-escalation. Worse still, neither officer attempted to render aid after Tamir was shot. An FBI agent who arrived 4 minutes later was the first to check his vitals. The fallout prompted the Cleveland Police Department to begin reform efforts, which included hiring 250 new officers, bringing on external consultants, and forming a monitoring team to oversee changes in policy, training, and use of force procedures. Tamir's death became a rallying cry for police accountability, juvenile justice, reform, and a painful reminder how split-second decisions can have irreversible consequences. Ivan Lester McGuire was a 35-year-old skydiving cameraman from Franklin, North Carolina. He worked at the Franklin County Sports Parachute Center, where he filmed clients as they jumped out of planes. On April 2, 1988, what started as just another workday turned into a fatal accident. He'd already done 2 jumps that day and was called for a third. Tired but committed, he agreed. The plane climbed to 10,500 feet. Ivan jumped first, filming the client and instructor like always. Everything looked routine until it was time to open his parachute. He reached back, nothing. He searched again, frantically, still nothing. That's when he realized the unthinkable. He wasn't wearing a parachute, just a camera rig strapped to his back. He managed to say, "Oh my God, no," before falling at over 150 miles per hour into a wooded area near the drop zone. He died instantly. Investigators later reviewed the broken footage from his helmet camera. It ruled out foul play or suicide. So how could a pro with over 800 jumps forget his parachute? One theory is simple exhaustion. He may have thought he was fully geared up. Another more likely reason is that his heavy camera equipment, big in backpack sized in the 80s, was mistaken for a parachute by him and others. His death was a tragedy, but the footage left behind has served as a powerful warning. Never skip the gear check. Even experts can make fatal mistakes. On April 7, 2025, in Belo Horizonte, Brazil, a quiet afternoon took a devastating turn when a concrete awning suddenly gave way and crashed down on a woman sitting just outside her home. The 32-year-old suffered severe injuries and was rushed to a nearby hospital, but despite efforts to save her, she later passed away. Emergency crews arrived quickly, sealing off the area to prevent further accidents, while engineers were brought in to assess the structural damage. Authorities opened an investigation into the collapse, but as of now, no new information has been released. It's a tragic example of how danger can strike without warning. Sometimes all it takes is being in the wrong place at the wrong moment. This story is as heartbreaking as it is disturbing.
Sheriff's office emergency.
Most recently, the deputy talked to my wife into letting me in the house, and then she locked me in the garage. And when I said,
What was that?
"You just stopped me,"
Oh, driving. She just shot him.
Colin Turner, a 38-year-old former U.S. Marine, was shot and killed by his wife, Bree Turner, who was still actively serving as a Navy Chief Petty Officer at the time. The couple had been together for 7 years. They shared 2 young kids and were raising Bree's 12-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. To outsiders, they might have looked like a military power couple with a stable family life, but behind closed doors, things had been unraveling for a while. On the day everything came to a head, police were called to their Virginia home twice for domestic issues. The first time, Bree told officers that Colin had been physically abusive and claimed that he raped her just a few days before.
I'm a police officer. My husband pushed me up against the wall, threw me on the floor, and he started.
Your husband still there?
Yes.
Are you able to stay in that room until the deputies get there?
Yes, but I don't want him to take my daughter. If he's going to throw
Are you
me
by
out,
yourself in the room? You're with your son and he's with your daughter. What's your husband's name?
Colin.
Talk to one down here, then I'm assuming that's your wife or the other half. You want to say what they call this?
Wife, yeah.
We talk to you guys separate.
She's got a shotgun and her pistol in the bedroom with her.
Okay.
And my pistol is on the dashboard of my truck. I'll put it there all pretty for you.
Okay, you stay out here, man.
I'm stolen. There's a little dog running around. She won't get.
Her name's Bree?
Her name's Bree. She's got both the kids in there with her.
Okay. Did you call us?
Yes.
What's going on today, ma'am?
So my husband is trying to take the kids.
What's up, big guy?
He threw me on the floor and pushed me against the wall.
And this all happened today?
Yes, it happened. We've been having issues over since the weekend.
What are the issues about?
Just typical relationship stuff.
Are you guys married?
Yeah, we're married, but his go-to is to use the kids against me. So he's ready to take them to Georgia.
But when police talked to Colin, he painted a very different picture. He said Bree had been mentally unstable for a while, that she'd tried to take her own life not long ago, and had recently been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. He also told them she destroyed his $2,500 laptop, literally ran it through the dishwasher, and that she'd frozen him out financially by taking his wallet, ID, and access to money.
So won't you give me a rundown on what happened during your argument?
All right. So she called you right now because she figured out that I want to take my kids to my parents' house in Georgia. For me, I guess me to have a break from her. A little bit of backstory. In March, she tried to kill herself and did inpatient. After she was inpatient and then she was outpatient group for a while, she got kicked out of that group and then went back in, Baker acted a second time for suicidal ideations. And there she was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. Are you familiar?
Yeah, I don't want him taking my kids. I have appointments with attorneys. I don't want him in the house. He raped me over the weekend. I just want
you got any marks anywhere? You mind if we look and check? I mean, because if you got any marks anywhere, I mean, you got any bruises or anything?
No, it was just today because he just pushed me up against this doorway and threw me down on the bathroom floor.
You don't have any redness anywhere? I'm gonna say, 'cause I need something. You know, because the problem is I got to be able to prove it. That's why I'm asking if you got marks or bruises or anything. Anyway, I need something else.
So next time I'll just make sure that he punches me in the face.
That's not what I'm saying at all. Did the kids witness any of it? No.
She had said, "I'll show you vindictive" last night. I thought she meant she came in and put the music on. I found this morning my laptop was missing. So I'm looking all around the house for it, and finally, like, wait a minute, the dishwasher was running all night. Put my fucking MacBook in the dishwasher. It's a $2,500 computer. And then
it's unfortunate.
Cut me off from all the credit cards she has control over. She's the primary breadwinner in the family.
And is she was she allowed to go? Like, did you plan on her coming?
No, I didn't plan on her coming.
Okay, you're just gonna take a break?
Yeah.
And they're your kids, right?
They're my kids.
Okay, y'all are married, had kids.
Married.
They're your blood.
They're both of our kids, and then I have a stepdaughter who's probably gonna be here in about 45 minutes from school.
Okay.
And my stepdaughter is fully hers legally, and her dad lives in Alabama, but he doesn't have any legal control. I can't stop you from taking the little kids because they're yours, but if you take my 12-year-old, I will press charges on you. It's not healthy for the kids to be around it. She's made repeated comments to the kids, the 3 and 4-year-old, since, well, today.
Well,
so the police are coming to save us because Daddy hurt Mommy. First of all, I didn't. Second of all, you don't tell a child that.
Sure.
Was at any point in time did it get physical?
I told you I tried to grab my daughter last night, and she got physical and stopped me. So I backed off at that point because that kind of allegation is the last thing I need.
Despite everything, Colin was allowed back inside the house later that day. He went to the garage to try and fix the door, but while he was in there, Bree locked him in. That's when he called 911, clearly panicked and saying he couldn't get out. And then, while he was still on the phone, she shot him 4 times in the back. The entire thing was recorded on the call. His final words, his confusion, his pain, it was all captured.
Office emergency.
Hi, you guys have been out to my house twice today, and then most recently the deputy talked my wife into letting me in the house, and then she locked me in the garage and tried to break my arm when I was trying to get back inside. She's currently got me locked in the garage because earlier she broke both of the big doors, and then when I came out here to fix it after getting in the house earlier, she locked the door behind me, and then when I tried to...
What was that?
You just shot me!
Somebody, she's driving. She just shot him. I just heard 4 shots. Sir, are you there? Somebody there? He's not answering. Mr. Turner, I don't know if you can hear me, but I've got help on the way for you.
After the shooting, Bree calmly walked out of the house with the kids. She told the neighbors she had just shot her husband. Then she went back inside, hid the gun behind a toaster, and waited for police. When they arrived, she admitted she'd pulled the trigger. At first, she said it was self-defense, that she feared for her life, but the body cam footage and that chilling 911 call told a different story. Colin wasn't threatening her. He was trapped, trying to get help, and had no weapon.
Come here, partner.
He went in to check to see if he's okay.
Where, here? No, over here. Okay. All right.
And I didn't take a pulse or touch him, but...
Where is he?
He's right in the garage. Anybody else in there?
Can we open this?
217. Get EMS in here. 217 baggy signal 7.
Where are they saying who ran in the back?
Hold on. This is Deputy Loha. Come here, sweetheart. It's okay.
Hi, are you in shock right now?
Well, do me a favor. Can you, they're working on him right now.
Okay.
I need you to go with this deputy, have her seat in her car. She's going to hang out with you. I'll get EMS to come check her out. She's the shooter.
Okay.
Sweetheart, come on, let's go. Come over here. That way we'll get EMS to check you out, make sure you're okay, okay?
I'm a murderer.
Listen to me. You're not under arrest right now. You're being detained, okay? We'll investigate.
No, you should arrest me. I killed my husband. Hopefully I just shot him. Maybe he's not dead. He should not be dead.
All right, go ahead and have a seat in the car for me, okay? Listen to me. Ma'am, go ahead and have a seat in the car for me. It's easiest if you just sit your butt down first and you switch your feet inside, okay? Can you do that for me right now? I appreciate you. We'll get this figured out, okay? I'm going to let you know as soon as I know something, okay?
He's dead.
Listen to me. I'm going to let you know as soon as I know something, okay?
I think she's in shock.
All right. Just twist around, feet inside there, okay?
The investigation that followed revealed even more. Police interviewed Bree's ex-boyfriend, her brother, and nearby neighbors. What came out painted a picture of long-standing conflict, mental health struggles, and escalating tension. In court, prosecutors argued that the killing was premeditated, and the jury agreed. Bree was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. She's since been discharged from the Navy and is now trying to appeal the conviction. The most tragic part, their kids are now left without either parent. Bree's oldest daughter has gone to live with her biological father, while Colin's parents have taken in the two younger children. One moment of violence shattered an entire family, and the scars it left behind will probably never fully heal. On January 15th, 2023, Yeti Airlines Flight 691 departed Tribhuvan International Airport in Kathmandu around 10:30 a.m. It was a short domestic route, headed for Pokhara International Airport, roughly 124 miles or 200 kilometers to the west. Everything about the flight seemed normal. Takeoff was smooth, the plane climbed and cruised without any issues, and even the descent into Pokhara went according to plan. One of the passengers, 25-year-old Sonu Jaiswal, began live streaming from inside the cabin as the plane approached the runway. Sonu was an adventurous traveler from India, known among his friends for his love of new experiences. This time he had traveled to Nepal with 3 close companions to explore the country and try paragliding in Pokhara. The live stream was meant to capture one of those happy, carefree moments before their next adventure, but just over a minute into the video, everything changed. The camera started shaking, disorienting viewers. The sound of laughter suddenly gave way to screams. What followed next was a deafening explosion. Incredibly, Sonu's phone continued recording, still streaming live as the horrifying scene unfolded. Viewers could do nothing but watch it in shock as the screen filled with fire, the flames consuming everything in view. Then the screaming stopped. Just like that, silence. Something had gone terribly wrong. News soon broke. Flight 691 had crashed into a riverbank just a few hundred meters from the Pokhara airport. The impact alone had been devastating, but the remaining fuel ignited on contact, creating an inferno that left nothing behind. By the time first responders reached the site, it was already too late. All 72 people on board, 68 passengers and 4 crew members, had perished. Sonu was among them. In his final moments, he had unknowingly captured and broadcasted the very tragedy that would end his life. If there was any small mercy, it was that the aircraft narrowly missed the densely populated area adjacent to the river. Had it crashed just slightly off course, the death toll could have been far higher. As for what caused such a catastrophic failure during an otherwise routine flight, an extensive investigation pointed to human error. Originally, the plane was cleared to land on runway 30, but for reasons still unclear, the captain requested an alternate approach to runway 12. At the time, co-pilot Anju Kadewada, who was undergoing training, was at the controls. Investigators believe the captain may have chosen the more challenging route as a training opportunity. Tragically, during the final approach, Anju misunderstood an instruction and accidentally feathered both engine propellers, a maneuver typically used in emergencies to reduce drag. This caused both engines to stall mid-descent. With no thrust and low altitude left, the plane banked sharply and crashed. A single error, one wrong input at the worst possible moment, led to unimaginable loss, and for the families left behind, that moment continues to echo. On December 22, 2018, a beachside concert at Tanjung Lesung Resort in Banten Province, Indonesia, turned into a scene of horror. The band 17 was performing when a tsunami, triggered by an undersea landslide following the eruption of Anak Krakatoa, struck around 9:30 p.m. local time. The video shows a calm, seated crowd enjoying the show until everything changes in an instant. A massive wave crashes into the venue, sweeping away the stage, cutting the lights and sending screams through the darkness. The wave, roughly 5 meters, 16 feet tall, tore through the event space without warning. Several members of the band, along with crew and family, were killed. Only the lead singer, Raifian Fajarsha, survived, later confirming the heartbreaking loss of his bandmates and wife. The tsunami devastated the surrounding coastline, destroying over 400 homes, wiping out hotels, and capsizing ships across the Sunda Strait between Java and Sumatra. On May 31, 2025, tragedy struck at an informal railway crossing in Samut Sakhon, Thailand. A pickup truck transporting workers tried to cross the tracks in an unmarked shortcut just as the train barreled toward them at full speed. Realizing the imminent danger, passengers began leaping from the vehicle in a panic. Tragically, one woman fell onto the tracks and was hit before she could escape. The railway line is notorious for these makeshift crossings, commonly used despite having no warning systems or barriers. Local officials acknowledged the safety issues and confirmed that plans to install protective infrastructure have been in the works, but have faced delays due to bureaucratic red tape.
He was 3 weeks away from turning 20. He had Tourette's syndrome and he was autistic. He was a huge, huge sports fanatic. Wrestling, especially wrestling.
Tremo had just begun living on his own for the first time at 19, proud to have his own place near his Walmart job in Lebanon. But one night, his excitement about a job interview the next day quickly turned into overwhelming anxiety. Alone in his apartment, Tremo, who is autistic, started to panic. He called his uncle, yelling and banging his head in distress, trying to cope the only way he knew how. In the past, similar meltdowns had resulted in brief hospital stays after his family reached out for help. But this time, it wasn't family who made the call. It was a neighbor. When Lebanon police arrived for a welfare check, they discovered an outstanding warrant neither Tremo nor his family even knew existed. It was a misdemeanor domestic violence charge from a previous mental health episode the year before. Tremo's mother, Abner, explained that the earlier incident had also involved a crisis. Her sister and brother-in-law had called the police expecting mental health support, not an arrest. At the time, it was treated as a medical emergency. This time, however, everything changed. Rather than taking Tremo to a hospital for care, officers transferred him to Montgomery County Sheriff's deputies who took him to jail instead. The jail environment quickly overwhelmed him, loud, unfamiliar, and completely unfit for someone in mental distress. A moment that called for compassion and clinical support turned into a devastating failure of the system.
You could see in his mugshot how distressed he was. I had nightmares for months. The fear in his eyes. I've never seen anyone so scared. They knew he was autistic. He was terrified. You could see it right then and there. If they had paid attention, they would have known something bad was about to happen and he needed medical help right then and there.
Tremo was booked into the jail around 1 a.m. During intake, he informed the medical staff that he had ADHD and autism, but what raised alarm was when he said he didn't want to live. That statement should have activated Ohio's full safety protocol for individuals at risk: a complete strip search, assignment of a suicide-resistant gown, a safety blanket and mattress, and placement in a protective isolation cell. Instead, Tremo was given only the gown. No mattress, no blanket. He was left in a cold, bare cell, exposed, overwhelmed, and terrified. Tremel hated feeling exposed and vulnerable. He pleaded with staff not to leave him like that. He also had a deep fear of tight spaces, and being confined only intensified his panic. Despite every visible sign that he was in distress, his needs were ignored. Every element of his environment was a trigger, yet no one took steps to ease his suffering.
You know, they stripped him naked, and he hated his body to be exposed, and he kept telling them that.
Before Tremel was even fully booked into jail, he began banging his head, a behavior often used by people with autism as a coping mechanism, much like rocking or hand flapping. But this time it wasn't a way to self-soothe. It was a sign of deep distress. Alone and overwhelmed, his anxiety escalated, and the headbanging became more violent. According to officers, he slammed his forehead so hard against the window of his cell door that visible swelling appeared. Instead of providing mental health support, jail staff responded by strapping him into a restraint chair. His chest, wrists, and ankles were bound, allegedly to prevent further self-harm. But for Tremel, it likely only deepened his fear and confusion.
He touched. He hated to be restrained. Even as a baby, the car seat alone. Oh, that was awful. So he was stemming in the videos, and he just kept hitting his head. Stemming, some people, it just helps them to calm down. It's not something they can control. Some people flap their arms, some people do hand. I mean, he did all of that too, but when he would get really upset, he would hit his head.
Tremel, like many individuals with autism, had a deep fear of being restrained. His mother later shared that even as a child, he couldn't tolerate being strapped into a car seat. The sensation of being confined was overwhelming and terrifying. Being tied down in a restraint chair was his worst nightmare come to life. After about an hour, Tremel began to calm down. He told the guard he no longer intended to harm himself, but instead of honoring that and releasing him, they left him strapped in for another full hour. Despite policies meant to prevent that kind of prolonged restraint, not long after, Tremel appeared in video court. It was there he found out he wouldn't be going home anytime soon. That news broke him. Surveillance footage captured the heartbreaking aftermath. He was seen pacing, rocking, kicking, and crying inside his holding cell, repeatedly begging to call his family, his voice filled with fear and desperation. Tremel slammed his head once more against the cell door before collapsing to the ground. As deputies began moving toward his cell, he suddenly hurled himself onto the concrete floor. Then without warning, he jumped up and struck the right side of his head against a cinder block wall 4 times in rapid succession. The impact was so severe that he briefly lost consciousness. Moments later, 5 officers stormed into the cell and pinned him face down on the floor.
He hated to be restrained. He hated people touching him. He wanted them, he kept asking them if they would just talk to him. Please just listen.
Can someone please listen to me?
Being confined. He hated to be confined. Absolutely, that would trigger him, and he would just panic.
Tremel, who had a deep aversion to being touched by strangers, was once again forced into the restraint chair. One officer pressed him down with a knee while others secured the straps tightly. According to Ohio jail policy, restraints are meant to be used only when absolutely necessary, not as punishment or for the convenience of staff. The rules also require officers to calmly explain the process to the individual. None of that happened. Instead, deputies issued repeated warnings threatening to use force if he didn't comply. Meanwhile, a large golf ball-sized lump had formed on Tremel's forehead.
Please, I want meds. Can I have meds? If I had medicine, stop, please. Please, the quickest we get me your meds, the earliest they might this guy stop.
His mother, Abner, said she had never seen fear in her son's eyes like that before. In the jail surveillance footage, Tremmel, still bound in the restraint chair, was wheeled into another cell. There, he resumed banging his head, this time against the backrest. His screams echoed off the walls. His body trembled and locked up. Even when he wasn't shouting, the sound of his labored, desperate breathing filled the room, clearly picked up by the surveillance mic. By the time deputies finally got him to a hospital, Tremmel was unresponsive. He passed away 3 days later.
His dad told me that Isaiah is at Miami Valley. He's on life support, and they're saying that there's nothing that they can do for him. There's too much brain injury. He was just a really, really kind-hearted boy. He really was. He wanted everything to be better. He wanted things to be better for people with disabilities. He wanted people to be more accepting. What would have been his 21st birthday is during the solar eclipse. And we're gonna take some of the dog's ashes and some of Isaiah's ashes, and we're gonna go spread them during the eclipse to celebrate his 21st birthday. The only thing I want is for nobody ever feel this again. Nobody should walk around feeling like this every single day.
This was a hard watch for me. He left behind his parents, 6 siblings, and his cherished dog, Bruce. His mother had no idea he was even in jail until the hospital called. Yet according to the county jail, staff claimed they followed proper procedures and provided adequate care. But looking at what happened, do you believe that? Let me know. Just after 3 a.m. on a silent stretch of road near John Wayne and Allura Parkways, the stillness was broken by the roar of a motorcycle engine growing louder. The center of it all was 29-year-old Dimitris Katis, tearing down the road at high speed. But this wasn't a typical case of a late-night joyride. Behind him, a police cruiser was in hot pursuit, lights flashing and sirens wailing, cutting through the quiet darkness.
Shut your bike off. Shut your bike off. And now he's fleeing southbound over the overpass. He's a real bad driver. 90 miles an hour. Ran a red light. Man, almost got hit. Shut your bike off. Shut your bike off.
Earlier, the officer had spotted Dimitri weaving through traffic, struggling to control the bike. It looked like he was either inexperienced or possibly under the influence. When the officer tried to pull him over, Dimitri initially stopped, but as soon as the officer stepped out of his car, Dimitri hit the throttle and took off. What started as a routine stop quickly escalated into dangerous and ultimately tragic pursuit.
Shut your bike off. He's fleeing southbound over the overpass. He's a real bad driver. 90 miles an hour, ran a red light, and almost got hit. Let Doc Chin know he's headed their way. And he's crashed. He crashed out at right before Hathaway, right before Altera North. Call paramedics, he's down. Hey, can you, please stop there. I know he almost hit you.
Caddis pushed the throttle to nearly 90 miles per hour in a 35 zone. He tore through intersections, barely missing a pickup truck, but the road curved ahead and he didn't. He failed to make the turn, slamming into the curb. The bike exploded into pieces, debris scattering more than 100 feet from where his body finally stopped. Paramedics rushed to the scene, but it was too late. Dmitry Caddis had suffered a massive head injury, a broken neck, and multiple fractures. He perished instantly.
He's not responsive. No breathing, faint pulse, looks like a broken neck. He was driving horribly, even just to start.
He says it.
Yeah, he almost, when he ran the red light, this guy was pulling out, almost hit him. He's got no ID on him.
What?
He's got no ID on him. He was driving even before I tried to stop him, he was not being able to balance on his bike. Let me see if he's still got a faint pulse.
It's okay.
I think his neck is broken though. You heard what I said. I wouldn't even try to stop him I hadn't put him up until right at Honeycutt, and he pulled over, and then he drove forward and punched it over the overpass. I got down right before here, and he ran the red light. I backed off over there, and then I saw him wreck out.
The officer later said it looked like Dmitry was inexperienced, like he didn't really know how to ride the bike, but maybe that wasn't it. Maybe he was scared, maybe he didn't have a license, or maybe he just panicked. Whatever the reason, he made a choice, and that choice cost him everything. Sometimes the crash isn't the story, it's what led to it. Fear, speed, and a split-second decision not to stop. That was all it took. At just 23 years old, Helen Wendy Nabuto had built a promising life for herself. Originally from Kenya, she had moved to Canada on a 10-year study visa at the age of 20. By 2022, she was nearing the completion of her studies and working both as a nurse and a personal support worker in the Toronto area. Everything seemed to be going in the right direction until a single tragic event abruptly cut her life short. Helen had recently accepted a position as a personal support worker in the quiet town of Chatsworth, Ontario, and to accommodate the job, she rented a room at the town's only motel. The accommodations were modest, but what drew her attention was the motel's outdoor swimming pool. On August 8th, she finally found time to unwind and decided to go for a swim while live streaming the experience on Facebook. The pool was empty, the atmosphere tranquil. Everything seemed perfect, but only about 10 minutes into the swim, Helen made her way toward the deep end and quickly found herself in distress. Unable to stay afloat, she began to struggle, calling out for help with what breath she had left. No one was around to hear her. For nearly a minute, she fought to keep herself above water, but ultimately succumbed, disappearing just outside the camera's view. The phone kept recording and broadcasting live to Facebook. Her final words, "Let me enjoy some water," took on a haunting tone as viewers continued watching, unaware of the full tragedy unfolding. It wasn't until nearly 3 hours later that two guests entered the pool area and made the devastating discovery, while the stream was still live. Initially, they couldn't even comprehend what they were witnessing. They eventually understood what had happened and quickly alerted the motel staff.
Why is there just a dead person in the line?
I know, that scared the when I got in. I think it's a poodle or something.
That looks so realistic.
I know. I got in and I was like, is it somebody? Walk over there. Just walk over there.
Dead? Like, what if it's actually somebody dead? Because I'm not even trolling, that looks way too real.
By the time help arrived, it was already too late. Helen had passed. The live stream served as crucial evidence, confirming that her death was a heartbreaking accident, though that offered little comfort to her grieving family. Her father, devastated, shared, "I watched the video. I cried. It's terrible." The loss was even more crushing because Helen had been the family's sole provider. With no financial means to repatriate her body to Kenya, her loved ones were left in despair. But as news of the tragedy spread, strangers across the internet rallied in support, raising over 66,000 Canadian dollars. The donations covered Helen's funeral costs and provided critical help to her family, offering a small glimmer of kindness in the midst of a deeply sorrowful loss. Armin Schmier, a 28-year-old Italian thrill seeker, had always been passionate about extreme sports. He began with skydiving and completed numerous jumps across Europe, but over time, skydiving no longer gave him the adrenaline rush he craved. In 2015, seeking a greater challenge, he transitioned to wingsuit base jumping, an even riskier sport that demands precision and nerves of steel. Despite the danger, Armin adapted quickly and became skilled within a year. However, he had no idea his daring pursuit was heading toward a tragic end. On August 26, 2016, Armin ascended Mount Congar in the Swiss Alps, planning to document his jump by live streaming it. Without a streaming-ready action cam or a reliable phone mount, he improvised. After gearing up, he turned to his viewers and said, "Today, you fly with me." Before placing his phone in his pocket, the screen went dark, aside from faint light filtering through the fabric, but the audio remained clear, capturing Armin's countdown and the moment he leapt into the air.
2, 1.
Initially, everything sounded routine, but around 20 seconds into the flight, the tone shifted drastically. Armin's phone recorded a sudden change, his voice erupting into panicked screams, followed by unmistakable noise of impact as he slammed into the mountainside. What came next was a harrowing sequence of sounds, his body crashing against rocks, scraping and tumbling violently down the steep slope. The fall came to a stop in the middle of a cow pasture, followed by complete silence. Armin's viewers, horrified by what they'd just heard, immediately alerted local authorities. A search operation began shortly after, but by the time rescuers reached him, Armin had already passed away from his injuries. The Swiss authorities never officially confirmed what led to the fatal crash, whether it was a malfunction with his gear or a mistaken flight. Regardless, Armin's final moments serve as a sobering reminder of the dangers tied to extreme sports. He died pursuing the thrill he loved most. On August 16, 2012, 21-year-old Lawrence Day Davis showed up for his very first day at work. He had just graduated from a federal job training program in Jacksonville, Florida, and landed a temp position through Remedy Intelligence Staffing at Bacardi's bottling plant. It was supposed to be the start of a new chapter, a chance to help his family build a future with his fiancée Alicia and make his mom and sister proud. But within just 19 minutes of clocking in, Day was dead. That day, he was assigned to warehouse number 7, where bottles of Bacardi rum are stacked and packaged for distribution across the US. His only training? A short 15-minute safety video. No hands-on guidance, no real prep for the machines he'd be working near. Then something went wrong. A palletizer machine had jammed. Glass was everywhere. Day was told to clean it up, right under a 2,000-pound platform stacked with rum cases. While he was still underneath, another worker restarted the machine, not realizing Day was down there. The platform came crashing down. Day was crushed instantly. The OSHA investigation that followed uncovered 12 safety violations at the facility, 2 of them willful, meaning Bacardi knowingly ignored dangerous conditions. They had failed to train temp workers in how to stay safe around the palletizer or how to prevent it from starting unexpectedly. The company was fined $192,000, though they later settled for $110,000. Part of the deal included promises to improve safety training, but for Day's family, the damage was already done. His mother and fiancé were left grieving, still wondering how a young man's first day on the job turned into his last. There is no public record of a separate settlement for the family, no confirmation that real justice was ever served. Day Davis was just starting out, first job, first shift, first time around heavy machinery, and it cost him his life. Many others find that diving can be dangerous if not done carefully. The main risk is drowning, which can happen as a result of insufficient training or the lack of essential safety equipment. Sadly, on April 28, 2000, Yuri Lipsky, a Russian-Israeli diving instructor, died while diving at the Blue Hole near Toab, Egypt. Despite diving expert Turk Omar's concerns about the potential hazards of the descent, after just one weekend of training, Lipsky went it alone, capturing his last moments with a helmet camera meant to film the dive. The deadly diving mishap captured on tape shows Lipsky's plunge into the Blue Hole, where he descended to a depth of about 91 meters or 300 feet. The deeper you go, the less time you have before your body absorbs too much nitrogen, causing intoxication and even narcosis. At a depth of 18 meters, one can stay for at least 30 minutes, but at 40 meters, the safe time limit is lowered to just a few minutes. He neglected to monitor his descent rate, so he was unaware of his speed, save for the increasing pressure on his eardrums. Additionally, his vision was totally obscured, leaving him without any sense of direction. In addition, the pressure at 90 meters makes oxygen toxic, which caused Lipsky to become increasingly disoriented as he descended. This, along with his distraction from filming, probably contributed to his failure to monitor his descent. When he reached the 90-meter mark at the plateau, a depth beyond the range of standard diving instruction, typically up to 40 meters or 44 meters for rescue diving, he was probably aware of his dire situation. Without specialized equipment like a highly buoyant balloon or vest, strength is drastically reduced at 90 meters due to high pressure, making ascent impossible. Exhaustion would set in long before reaching the surface, and his equipment, which included tanks, a camera, and additional batteries, added to the downward pull. He kept going down without realizing the danger until it was too late.
I'm trying to hurt nobody. I've never hurt anybody. It's been quiet a while, so they plotting to come in here and disturb the peace here. They've already disturbed the peace. I'm not a criminal.
Corin Gaines, known for her vocal criticism of police conduct, found herself at the center of a tragic confrontation on August 1, 2016. That day, law enforcement officers arrived at her Randallstown, Maryland apartment to serve a warrant related to a prior traffic violation, a situation that quickly escalated beyond routine procedure.
The devil at my door, and He's refusing to leave.
Gaines was inside her apartment with her 5-year-old son when officers arrived, and she began live streaming the standoff on Facebook.
We're going to talk until we come to an agreement. We bring everybody out safe, and you and I go have a sit down. Because you know, and I know that this ain't right.
It's not.
The officer's cautious tone from behind the door wasn't without reason. Inside, Corinne Gaines had armed herself with a shotgun. What followed was a tense 6-hour standoff that prompted the arrival of a SWAT team. Unfortunately, the situation ended in tragedy. According to official accounts, when an officer kicked in the door, Gaines pointed her weapon toward him and told him to leave. Officer Royce Ruby responded by firing a shot, and Gaines reportedly returned fire. Ruby then fired 3 additional rounds, striking Gaines and accidentally wounding her 5-year-old son in the arm. The child survived, but Gaines was killed. No body camera footage exists from the incident, as Ruby wasn't wearing one. Though prosecutors later ruled the shooting justified and cleared Ruby of criminal wrongdoing, Gaines' family pursued a civil lawsuit. In 2018, a jury awarded them $38 million, concluding that the officer's initial use of deadly force was unreasonable. Car accidents are already the leading cause of death in the US, but watching your own child's final moments play out on video takes that tragedy to an entirely different level. That's what makes this next video, uploaded by Lychee Spricks, so deeply haunting. In the clip, 2 teenage boys hop into a car late at night, they blast music, hit record, and start speeding down the road. The energy is carefree, they're singing, laughing, just living in the moment, but what they didn't realize was that they were also filming the final moments of their lives. The driver appears slightly intoxicated, and although the mood is lighthearted, there's a sense of recklessness that only becomes more painful in hindsight. Had they known this would be their last drive, they never would have pressed record.
So dope. Over. Come on.
Then it fell down entirely the next second. The driver perished as a result of his intoxication, despite the other man in the passenger seat warning him to slow down. As heartbreaking as it is, this video carries a powerful lesson. Speed and recklessness should never be taken lightly. No amount of fun is worth risking your life or someone else's. Driving should never be a thrill-seeking game. Behind every tragic crash like this is a family left shattered in memories that can never be replaced. Let this serve as a reminder to slow down, stay sober, and respect the road. Although they are frequently seen on the roadways, highway trucks may also be dangerous. Final Destination fans agree. In the Rav area of Russia, on a highway between Azov and Stamen, a KAMAZ truck was completely loaded with bricks, crashed into the windshield of an Audi A4. A 29-year-old lady named Olga Gakovic was struck by a loose brick that struck the Audi A4 while she was on the passenger side.
Помогите, что делать? Что делать? Я попала, блядь!
The truck driver overlooked it and kept driving, and you could hear her husband sobbing in agony. The woman was rushed to the AAV hospital's emergency room with a fractured skull, where it was determined that she was dead after 2 hours of unsuccessful attempts to resuscitate her. You can only imagine the amount of anguish the man in the automobile must endure for the rest of his life, given that some comments indicate the truck driver served 5 years in prison for his crime. As we've seen before, pit bulls can pose serious risks if not properly trained or contained. In this case, the man simply stepped outside his home for a breath of fresh air, only to be ambushed within seconds by his neighbor's recently acquired dog. The sudden attack left him no time to react, turning an ordinary moment into a terrifying ordeal. Acted on instinct and in fear for his life, the man quickly drew a firearm and shot the pit bull in self-defense. The situation escalated in a matter of seconds, and his reaction was a desperate attempt to protect himself from further harm.
Call 911 right now.
Naturally, the dog's owner was upset, insisting that the animal wouldn't have bitten anyone, but the man defended his actions, explaining that he couldn't have known that in the heat of the moment, and asked what else he was supposed to do. Fortunately, the entire incident was caught on camera, and the majority of viewers agreed that his response was reasonable under the circumstances.
Damn, bro, you just a buck. Dude, I don't know that. No dog can run that at me like that. On my property, I don't know that. You didn't even tell him to get back. I tried to. I didn't think this rope was gonna come untied. My mom just tied him up, bro. He my 7-year-old daughter dog, bro. I don't know that. I just got him for her, bro. I understand, but I don't know that. The dog you got a kid running at me, dog. I understand, bro. I definitely understand, bro. But you ain't have to do that, bro. You could have gave me. What the I gonna do? You could. He was gonna bite you, bro. How the I know that?
Though the dog was still moving at the end of the video, it likely didn't survive. It's a tragic situation all around, and one that highlights why pit bulls are banned in numerous countries and several US states. Tavi Pio's livestream abruptly ended in chaos just moments after his wife cautiously pulled into the intersection. The feed was cut short by the sound of screeching metal and Tavi's panicked scream. Viewers were left stunned, unsure of what had just happened. Tragically, it was later confirmed that their car had been struck by an oncoming train. Tavi didn't survive the crash. The sudden and violent end to the stream became a haunting moment for fans and loved ones alike, marking the untimely death of a young artist whose promising future was taken in an instant. It was later confirmed that the couple had been crossing a railway line when the crash occurred. Although Tavi's wife had looked both ways, she somehow failed to see the train rapidly approaching. By the time they realized the danger, there was no chance to react. The train slammed into their vehicle, completely destroying it. Tavi died in the crash, his final moments captured during what had started as a joyful live stream. In a haunting twist, just 1 month before the accident, he had posted on Facebook, "One day the wrong train will take you to the right destination." His wife miraculously survived but was left in critical condition and placed on life support. No further updates on her condition were publicly released. For fans, the final image of Tavi smiling, dancing, and enjoying life became a bittersweet memory of the artist they lost too soon. It's March 11th, 2018, a calm Sunday evening in New York City. A red Eurocopter AS-350 takes off, carrying 5 enthusiastic passengers and an experienced pilot, all set for what should have been a scenic flight over the city. But this isn't your typical flight. It's a doors-off photo tour meant to deliver the ultimate aerial selfie. Passengers have their feet hanging out, phones ready with the Statue of Liberty as a backdrop. It all feels thrilling until disaster strikes. Just 11 minutes into the ride, one of the passengers' harness tethers intended to keep them secure accidentally gets caught on a floor-mounted fuel shutoff switch. The engine cuts out and the helicopter starts plummeting from the sky. Pilot Richard Vance quickly issued a mayday call and attempted to glide the helicopter toward the East River. He activated the emergency floats designed to keep the aircraft upright during a water landing, but as the chopper touched down near Roosevelt Island, things took a devastating turn. It tipped and flipped upside down in the frigid river. Vance's harness had a quick release, allowing him to kick out a window and escape. The passengers weren't so fortunate. Their harnesses lacked quick-release mechanisms, trapping them underwater. Among them were photographer Trevor Cadigan, New Yorkers Tristan Hill and Daniel Thompson, firefighter Brian McDaniel from Dallas, and Argentine tourist Carla Vallejos Blanco. None survived. Trevor's family was later awarded $116 million by a jury, eventually settling for $90 million, with Fly Neon and Liberty Helicopters held largely responsible. In the aftermath, all doors-off flights without quick-release restraints were grounded, and safety regulations for such tours were tightened significantly. This is 44-year-old Callisto Benuti. On the evening of May 13, 2025, neighbors in Jacksonville, Florida called 911 after witnessing him firing a gun from the porch of his trailer. When officers arrived on the scene, they confirmed that Benuti was indeed armed. Despite multiple attempts by law enforcement to de-escalate the situation and persuade him to disarm, Benuti refused to comply or put down the weapon.
Benvenuti's family members shared with initial responding officers that Benvenuti showed signs of being a paranoid schizophrenic. Although he was never formally diagnosed, he self-medicated with alcohol, methamphetamine, and other narcotics. According to his family members, Benvenuti experienced visual hallucinations, claiming he could see his deceased father and grandmother. Additionally, Benvenuti's family members shared with officers that Benvenuti was agitated the evening of May 13th because he'd been unable to obtain narcotics.
As the standoff continued, Callisto Benuti grew increasingly agitated. At one point, he fired a shot into the ground, heightening the threat level and prompting a SWAT team to take over. Armed with a stick in one hand and a gun in the other, Benuti attempted to force his way into a neighbor's home. That's when SWAT officers decided to use lethal force. Despite immediate medical efforts to save him, Benuti succumbed to his injuries and was later pronounced dead. The following footage shows the incident from the perspective of responding officers.
Don't let him get to that other house.
You might be coming.
Come around. Hey! Put your hands up! Put your hands up!
Go back, go back, go back! Get the hands up! Get back! I'm calling my mom! I'm calling my mom!
Drop the gun!
Drop the gun!
Drop
the gun! Mom! Drop the gun! Where's my mom? Where's my mom?
Sir,
I'm here to my mom! I'm here to my brother and my mom! No!
Do not!
Don't fuck with me!
No! Drop the gun!
Drop my mom!
Do not look
Drop
up the gun!
It's my mother!
He's still moving. Hold on. I can't see his right hand.
Hold on. Suspect's down on the porch of the neighboring house.
The most recent information confirms that an investigation is ongoing to assess whether the use of deadly force by SWAT officers was consistent with department policy and legal standards. Given that Callisto Benuti was armed, had fired a round, and was actively attempting to enter a neighbor's home while holding a firearm, many would argue that the officers acted to prevent a potentially greater threat to public safety. Still, these cases are complex and heavily scrutinized, especially when mental health, communication breakdowns, or possible alternatives are involved. What are your thoughts? Was the decision justified under the circumstances? On a Friday afternoon in Istanbul, 23-year-old Kubra Dojin joined her 16-year-old cousin to film content for TikTok. Hoping to capture the perfect shot, they climbed onto the roof of their family's apartment building. What started as a casual photo session quickly turned into a nightmare. Without warning, a section of the damaged rooftop gave way beneath Kubra, sending her plummeting nearly 160 feet. The tragedy, which occurred in 2021, was made even more heartbreaking by the fact that the entire incident was captured on video.
Esmer sen güzelsin.
In the footage, Kubra can be seen sitting on the edge of the rooftop, her feet dangling casually, while her cousin briefly turns the camera on herself. Suddenly, the sound of cracking plastic pierces the moment as the gray rooftop panel beneath Kubra gives way. In an instant, she plunges 9 stories to the ground below. Reports say her cousin immediately ran back to the apartment to get help, but by the time emergency services arrived, there was nothing they could do. Kubra had already passed away. On the evening of November 8, 2022, a quiet neighborhood in Millers Falls, Massachusetts was rocked by a devastating fire. It broke out suddenly around 4:45 p.m. in a 2-story home. Family members inside the house noticed the smell of something electrical burning, a detail confirmed by Tina Verscott. Tina and some neighbors rushed to put out the fire using a household extinguisher, but the flames spread too fast. Within minutes, they had no choice but to run for their lives. Tragically, Tina's mother, 65-year-old Deborah Verscott, didn't make it out. She was trapped inside, unable to escape the growing flames. When firefighters arrived, the fire had already taken hold. They worked quickly, but the structure collapsed as they fought the blaze. Although they stopped it from spreading to nearby homes, the damage was total. Deborah's body was later found inside the wreckage. Some residents criticized the response time and questioned whether more could have been done to save Deborah, but fire officials pushed back, saying they acted as fast as possible given the conditions. Millers Falls is a small town with limited firefighting resources. That made it harder to control such a fast-moving blaze. Investigators from the fire department and state agencies found no signs of foul play, but the Verscott family's early report of an electrical smell pointed to a possible cause. The official results were never widely shared. In the end, the fire destroyed everything the family owned, but the town didn't leave them behind. Neighbors raised money through GoFundMe and pitched in to help the family recover. They eventually moved into a new home. Even so, the loss of Deborah Verscott still hangs heavy over the family.
That everything that we had, including my mom, is gone. It's pure torture. It smelled electric. You know, the electrical fire smell that you smell. And I said to my husband, I said, well, maybe it's behind our bed because I seen a little bit of smoke. So I grabbed the fire extinguisher, threw it at him, and he sprayed it. Nothing. He opened our door to go down the stairs, and big black smoke just hit us.
This seemingly ordinary CCTV footage captures 8-year-old MYUU Billingham and her father William Billingham visiting a convenience store in Brown Hills, England. On the evening of January 21st, 2018, the two enter calmly. MYUU is seen happily browsing toys while William picks up a few cans of beer. Nothing in the footage hints at the horror that would unfold just hours later. Roughly 2 hours after the visit, police were called to the Billingham residence where they discovered a devastating scene. MYUU was found unresponsive, fatally stabbed in the chest, while William was also injured, though his wound was determined to be self-inflicted. Investigators soon confirmed the unthinkable. William had killed his own daughter. In court, William claimed he had no recollection of the attack and cited depression as a factor. However, the jury concluded it was a deliberate and vengeful act, fueled by resentment over his ex-partner beginning a new relationship. He was sentenced to at least 27 years in prison but died in 2021 from a lung condition. The tragedy remains haunting. Just hours after that innocent store visit, the little girl in the footage was betrayed in the most unimaginable way by the very person she trusted most. This unsettling video, recorded in 2022, shows a man visibly trembling as he eats a simple meal of rice, his final meal before execution. The man is Nagain K. Dharmalingam, a Malaysian national, filmed inside a Singapore prison. In the background, a guard silently observes. His hands aren't shaking from illness, but from the overwhelming fear of what's to come. In 2009, Nagain was arrested at the Singapore border with 42.72 grams of heroin strapped to his thigh, a quantity that, under the country's strict laws, qualifies as a capital offense. Despite years of appeals and widespread international outcry from human rights activists and organizations urging clemency, his sentence was upheld. After 12 years on death row, Nagain was executed by hanging on April 27, 2022. The case drew global attention and reignited debates around the use of the death penalty, particularly for nonviolent drug offenses. The African wilderness, vast, breathtaking, and untamed, is a place where beauty and danger walk hand in hand. For 80-year-old Gail Matson from Minnesota, it was meant to be the setting for one final adventure, a dream realized after years of longing. She envisioned golden sunrises over Zambia's Kafue National Park, the melodic calls of unseen birds, and the quiet hum of a land untouched by time. In December 2018, what began as a peaceful morning safari turned into a nightmare. Matson, along with 5 other tourists and a seasoned guide, set out on what should have been a routine game drive through Africa's oldest and largest national park. Cameras ready, they were immersed in the landscape, unaware of the danger that lurked just out of sight. Then, without warning, a massive bull elephant bursts from the brush. It charged fast. Too fast for anyone to react. The terrain offered no escape, the path blocked, the guide helpless in the face of what was to come. The elephant slammed into the vehicle with devastating force, flipping it as though it were weightless. In the chaos, bodies were thrown, metal crushed, and within moments, Gail Matson was gone. Just moments earlier, she had been smiling, holding a flower for a photo. Now she lay lifeless in the wreckage. 4 others were injured, one seriously enough to require an emergency airlift to South Africa. Those who survived would carry not only physical scars, but the trauma witnessing what should have been impossible. Back home, friends struggled to process the news. Gail had told them this trip would be her last big journey, a chance to embrace life one final time. No one could have imagined how tragically it would end. The elephant's aggression remains a mystery, possibly the result of shifting migration patterns, stressed habitats, or simple unpredictability. Climate change and human encroachment have been known to blur the boundaries between the wild and the civilized, but in this case there were no answers, only heartbreak. Wilderness Safaris, the company leading the trip, expressed deep sorrow. CEO Keith Vincent stated their guides were highly trained, but the terrain that day left them with no options. Investigations followed, but the truth was already painfully clear. Nature cannot be tamed. No amount of training or preparation can guarantee safety when the wild decides otherwise. For Gail Madsen, her journey did not end in the quiet reflection she had imagined. Instead, it concluded in the raw, unforgiving grip of the wild. A powerful reminder that while we may seek wonder in nature, we must never forget it remains beautifully and brutally beyond our control. The golden glow of the African sun stretched across the vast plains of the Lion Park near Johannesburg, casting warm light and deep shadows on what was meant to be a day of awe and discovery. For 29-year-old American Catherine Chappell, this was a dream in motion. An accomplished visual effects editor, she had helped craft epic worlds for films like Game of Thrones, Divergent, and Captain America: The Winter Soldier. But despite her work in Hollywood, it was the raw, untamed beauty of the natural world that truly called to her. Catherine had traveled to South Africa not only to witness its wildlife, but to contribute meaningfully to conservation efforts. She was passionate about protecting endangered species and had plans to produce a film on anti-poaching efforts, giving voice to stories often overlooked. Arriving a week before her volunteer work began, she eagerly explored the landscape that had long captivated her. But on a clear afternoon in June 2015, her journey took a tragic and irreversible turn. While on a safari drive through the park, Catherine sat in a slow-moving vehicle, surrounded by the distant roars and rustling of the wind. From the tall grass, a lioness appeared, graceful, powerful, and alert. Drawn to the breathtaking sight, Catherine raised her camera. Despite the park's strict rule to keep windows shut at all times, she rolled hers down to get a better shot. The lioness crept closer, her amber eyes fixed on the vehicle. Then, in a flash, the calm dissolved into chaos. The lion lunged through the open window, her jaws clamping down in a violent blur. Catherine didn't have a moment to react. The attack was immediate, overwhelming, and final. Their guide, Pierre Potter, fought to fend off the animal, suffering injuries to his arms in the process. The trauma of the scene overwhelmed him. He collapsed from a heart attack in the aftermath. Though paramedics arrived quickly, nothing could be done. Catherine was already gone. Her death sent shockwaves through her family and the film industry. Her parents, Mary and John, and her siblings Jennifer, Lauren, and Ryan, were devastated. On social media, they shared their heartbreak, remembering her as a radiant, adventurous soul who embraced the world without hesitation. Her colleagues in Hollywood mourned the loss of a gifted talent whose work had touched millions. Authorities investigated the incident but found no wrongdoing by the park or its staff. The lion, they concluded, had simply acted on instinct. In the wild, there is no malice, only survival. Mistakes, however unintentional, can be fatal. Catherine Chappell sought to tell powerful stories, to capture the truth of the world beyond the lens of fiction. In the end, her story became a sobering reminder. The wild is breathtaking and inspiring, but it's also unforgiving, and it does not yield to even the purest of intentions. Kareth Kumar, a well-known Indian influencer admired for his adventurous spirit and creative content, set out in 2023 to film what he hoped would be a breathtaking video for his TikTok followers. He chose a striking location, a rock perched in front of a powerful waterfall, but what was meant to be a showcase of beauty and boldness quickly turned tragic. As the camera rolled, Kumar lost his footing and slipped into the fast-moving river below. His disappearance sparked a frantic search, and after a week of searching through the dense jungle, authorities sadly recovered his body, confirming he had not survived the fall. What was intended as a moment of inspiration became a heartbreaking reminder how quickly adventure can turn to tragedy. In March 2017, Craig Smith, a resident of Birkenhead, made a frantic 999 call, claiming that his 2-year-old stepson, Teddy Tilston, had swallowed bathwater and was now unresponsive. On the call, Smith sounded panicked, pleading for help and trying to resuscitate the child. At first glance, it appeared to be a tragic accident, but what followed would reveal a much darker truth.
Ambulance, is the patient breathing?
No, he's not.
He's not breathing.
It's a little 2-year-old boy. He's just been in the bath. He's just swallowed water.
And he's not breathing.
He's not breathing. His eyes are open. He's not moving. No movement, no breathing.
Okay, what's the address of the emergency?
I'm trying. Come on, please. Come on.
Okay, how old is he?
He's 2.
He's 2.
Yeah. Come on, mate.
This is not delaying the help at all, okay?
I'm trying to breathe air into his lungs, and it's just going on the wheel.
Right, okay. I'm
his eyes not
organising.
moving. He's
Right,
unresponsive.
listen. I'm organising help for you now. Stay on the line. Okay, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do next. Okay? And he's 2.
He's dead, as far as I can see. He's dead.
Okay, all right. Listen to me. I'm going to tell you how to help him.
No point.
Okay, the help's being arranged as I'm speaking to you, okay? Stay on the line with me.
Come on.
Are you right by him now?
I'm right by him. He's just...
Right, listen carefully. Lay him flat on his back on the ground.
Flat on his back.
Remove any pillows and then kneel next to him and look into his mouth for food or vomit.
I've cleared all food
and vomit out of his mouth. Is there anything in his mouth?
No.
No.
Not
okay, now place your hand on his forehead. Your other hand under his neck and carefully tilt his head back. And then put your ear next to his mouth. Can you feel or hear any breathing?
It's just like bubbling.
Can you feel or hear any breathing?
No, it's air coming out.
Okay, I'm going to tell you how to give mouth to mouth. Pinch his nose closed and completely cover his mouth with your mouth. Then blow 2 regular breaths into his lungs, about 1 second each. Just enough to make his chest rise with each breath.
Right, okay. No. It's just the air.
Could you feel the air going in and out?
Yes, yeah.
You could? Okay, listen carefully. I'll tell you how to do chest compressions. Make sure he's flat on his back on the floor. Place the heel of your hand on the breastbone in the centre of his chest, right between the nipples.
Okay.
Push down 2 inches with only the heel of your hand touching his chest. Pump his chest hard and fast, at least twice a second. Let his chest come all the way up between pumps and tell me when you're done. Okay, count the compressions out loud.
1, 2.
Right, you need to be going at a rate of 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're still doing nothing.
You're doing really well. Just keep going.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Right, now with your hand under his neck, pinch his nose closed and carefully tilt his head back again. Give 2 more regular breaths and pump his chest 30 times more. Make sure the heel of your hand is on the breastbone in the centre of his chest, right between the nipples.
One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4.
Have you done the 2 more breaths?
Yeah, I've done 2 more breaths.
You've done the 2 more breaths, okay. So from now on, just keep giving him 2 breaths and then 30 pumps, 2 breaths and 30 pumps. Keep doing it until help arrives to take over. Tell me when you're right with him.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You're doing really well. Keep going. Don't give up. This will keep him going till the ambulance crew arrives. Just keep repeating the cycle of 2 breaths and 30 pumps. 2 breaths and 30 pumps. Keep doing it until help can take over. Okay, tell me when they're right with you or if anything changes. Just keep doing the 2 breaths and the 30 pumps.
I can hear an ambulance now.
Okay, just keep going until they're right with you. Is there somebody in the house with you?
Well, no, just me and the other daughter.
Is she old enough to go and open the front door?
No, she's only 3. My missus is in hospital already with the other 2-year-old. She banged her head this morning.
Oh gosh, okay. Just you keep going until you hear them knocking.
Yeah, just knocking now.
Okay, run and open the door as quickly as you can.
However, as investigators in Liverpool looked deeper into the case, the story began to unravel. There was no evidence to support the claim that little Teddy had swallowed bathwater. Instead, the truth was far more disturbing. It was revealed that Craig Smith had struck 2-year-old Teddy in the stomach with such force that it caused fatal internal bleeding. That same morning, Teddy's twin sister, Cassidy, was hospitalized with a head injury, further raising alarm. Smith, 28, was ultimately convicted of Teddy's murder and the assault on Cassidy. He was sentenced to a minimum of 17 years in prison. The children's mother, Ashley Willett, was also found guilty, charged with cruelty after it was discovered Teddy had over 40 visible injuries, including an older brain bleed. She was additionally convicted of assault in connection with Cassidy's injury. What began as a desperate emergency call turned out to be the cover for a harrowing case of prolonged abuse. 10-year-old Sarah Sharif endured unimaginable abuse at the hands of those who were supposed to protect her. Living in Woking, England, she suffered a long history of violence, broken bones, burns, strangulation, and severe neglect. Despite multiple red flags, including reports from her school and visits from social services, Sarah tragically slipped through the cracks. On August 9th, 2023, just hours before police would discover her lifeless body in a bunk bed at the family home, CCTV at Heathrow Airport captured a disturbing scene. Sarah's father, stepmother Beinash Batul, and uncle Faisal Malik calmly walking through airport security headed for a flight to Pakistan. After arriving in Islamabad, her father, Irfan Sharif, made a chilling call to UK authorities. "I illegally punished her," he said. "I killed my daughter. I beat her up too much." A months-long international manhunt followed, with UK and Pakistani law enforcement working together to locate the fugitives. In December 2024, both Irfan and Beinash were found guilty of Sarah's murder and sentenced to life in prison. Her uncle Faisal Malik was also convicted, this time for allowing her death, and received a 16-year prison sentence. Sarah's case remains a haunting reminder of what can happen when warnings go unheeded and systems meant to protect the vulnerable fail. On December 17, 2012, a group set out to run the Cheat River in West Virginia. Known for its powerful whitewater rapids, one of the rapids they approached was Three Amigos, a stretch famous for its fast-moving current and massive waves. As Nancy and her rescue partner discussed their line, they chose to go down the middle channel and attempt a boof move on the left side, but things went wrong fast. Nancy hit a rock at a bad angle and got sucked into a sieve head first. She ended up pinned between her kayak and a boulder. The rescuer managed to run the drop, catch an eddy, and blow the whistle 3 times to signal an emergency.
Hold on! Other side! She's on the... John's landing. Watch my boat.
Nancy was partially above the surface, but her position was dangerously unstable. The rescuer quickly left his boat, climbed onto a nearby rock, and tried to reach her. Using his paddle for balance, he extended it toward Nancy but lost his footing in the process. That slip caused Nancy to slip deeper, disappearing completely beneath the water.
She's breathing. Nancy. Paddle.
Another member of the group, Ken Durr, stepped in to assist the rescuer. Working together, they managed to pull Nancy out of the water after nearly 2.5 minutes. Fortunately, she was conscious and breathing, though visibly exhausted. It was a frightening ordeal for both Nancy and her rescuer.
Are you okay?
After removing her from the stream, Bill Durr and another man tried CPR for 40 minutes without success. He took her body out of the river and cut loose a strap that was stuck on a branch of the submerged tree. Nancy, 56, was declared dead at the spot, even after 40 minutes of cardiopulmonary resuscitation. The water current was too powerful to save her. When jogging the river, people should constantly exercise caution and be on the lookout for any obstacles.
Get the truck, bro! Get the back! Let's go back to your truck! Well, look at the back of your truck! Look, pretty good, alright? Bro, look at the back of your truck, look at the back! What? Look at my truck right there! I got no camera! Big bro! Don't worry, big show!
On March 7th, 2025, a confrontation in Scottsdale, Arizona escalated into a deadly officer-involved shooting that claimed the life of 42-year-old Joseph Santos. The incident began around 10 p.m. when surveillance footage from a gas station captured Santos confronting another man and pulling a firearm. The man fled into the store and later returned safely to his hotel, where he contacted police to report the encounter. What followed would quickly turn a tense situation into a fatal one.
911, do you need police, fire, or medical?
Police.
What's the address?
Bixby Hotel. The problem happened on the parking lot. The guy hit my truck. He's in a SUV. He's still out here now. He drunk. He pulled a weapon out. He came back. He just wasted. So I just approached him, telling him, hey, you hit my truck. I'm looking at you. And he just started going off crazy. and he pulled out a gun.
Officers soon located Joseph Santos's SUV and attempted a traffic stop, but he sped off, evading police. Not long after, he returned to the area where the initial victim had been and pulled in directly behind a marked patrol car. Acting quickly, officers boxed in Santos's vehicle using an unmarked unit and approached with their weapons drawn, prepared for a potentially volatile encounter.
Not move, okay? What the f*** you guys talking Open the door. Keep your hands up.
Do you have anyone on driver's side?
Keep your hands up right now.
Shoot me.
Back up, back up. Okay. You guys put your hands up.
Shoot me here.
Mary, get out of the way.
Yep, go.
Sorry, get out of the way.
Back up. Go.
Hey. Shoot me, nigga. Put your hands up. Put your hands up.
Despite repeated commands to surrender, Joseph Santos refused to comply. Instead, he took off his shirt and threw it out the window, an action that further heightened tensions. Moments later, he reached into the backseat of his SUV, a sudden movement that caused officers to deploy K9 Rocco in an attempt to subdue him before the situation escalated further.
Put your hands up. Put your hands up. No. Put your hands Put your hands up. Listen. Put your hands up now. Get your hands in the air. Fast!
As K9 Rocco entered Santos's vehicle, the situation spiraled out of control. In the chaos that followed, an officer fired through the SUV's windshield, striking both Joseph Santos and the police dog. Santos collapsed inside the vehicle and was pronounced dead at the scene. K9 Rocco was wounded in the gunfire but survived after receiving medical treatment and eventually made a full recovery. In the aftermath, Scottsdale police swiftly released a critical incident briefing, including body cam and drone footage, offering the public a transparent view of this confrontation and supporting the conclusion that the use of force was justified under the circumstances. On November 20, 2018, 21-year-old British backpacker Grace Milani arrived in New Zealand after an extended journey through South America. She'd explored places like Shell in Peru and Cape Reinga in New Zealand, regularly updating her family on her travels. On November 30, just 2 days before her 22nd birthday, Grace returned to Auckland and checked into a local backpacker hostel. While there, she used Tinder and arranged a few dates, including one with Jesse Kempson. At 5:37 p.m. that evening, Grace left the hostel to meet him, pausing along the way to snap a photo of a Christmas tree at the Sky City complex, a photo she sent to her family. Tragically, it would be the last message they'd ever receive from her. Later that night, Grace was murdered by Kempson in his hotel room, but his actions wouldn't go unnoticed. CCTV cameras captured nearly every move he made. Meeting Grace, walking with her, and returning to the hotel. In the days that followed, he was seen buying cleaning supplies in a suitcase, footage that would later become crucial evidence. As Grace's birthday passed, her loved ones grew concerned. When their messages and calls went unanswered, worry turned to alarm. On December 5, 2018, a missing person report was filed and her father appeared on national television pleading for information. The Auckland police launched a detailed investigation retracing Grace's final steps. As they uncovered an overwhelming amount of surveillance footage, it became clear that Kempson had left a trail of evidence leading directly to him. What began as a date ended in tragedy, but thanks to tireless police work and digital evidence, the truth was brought to light and justice began to take shape. Surveillance shows Grace seeing Jesse at Sky City at 5:45 p.m. on December 1st and leaving with him. After, we see Jess and Grace strolling across Sky City together. Around 7 p.m., Jesse and Grace started going out to bars before arriving at the Bluest Room, where they exchanged drinks and kiss. Grace is then spotted messaging her pal to say how much fun she is having on her date. However, things would go nasty a few hours afterwards. At 9:40 p.m. on November 30th, 2018, CCTV footage shows Grace Milani and Jesse Kempson leaving the bar together, holding hands and appearing affectionate as they cross the street. They walk toward City Life Hotel, where Kempson had been staying, and take the elevator up to his apartment. Tragically, this would be the last time Grace was seen alive. What followed over the next 48 hours was a disturbing sequence of events meticulously captured through digital and surveillance evidence. In the early hours of December 2nd, between 1:29 a.m. and 6 a.m., Kempson's phone activity revealed chilling search history. Terms like extra-large bags, rigor mortis, hottest fire, carpet cleaner, and how to create alibis. That same morning at 8 a.m., CCTV footage showed him entering the elevator alone and leaving the apartment, this time to purchase cleaning supplies in a large suitcase, items that would soon be linked to his attempt to dispose of Grace's body. Every move he made was being recorded, forming a damning timeline that would ultimately bring justice for Grace. Before heading out on another Tinder date, Jesse rents a car from Apex Car Rental at roughly 10:33 a.m. Later that afternoon, Jesse Kempson's internet history revealed more disturbing searches, including flesh-eating birds and are there vultures in New England, a grim indication of his mindset. That same day, his behavior grew increasingly suspicious. He obtained a carpet cleaning machine, brought it up to his apartment, used it, and returned it just hours later. At 9:26 a.m., CCTV footage shows Kempson wheeling a luggage cart into the elevator, then out through the lobby and onto the street where he loads multiple suitcases, one of which would later be identified as containing Grace's body, into his rental car. On December 3rd at 7 a.m., more footage captures Kempson purchasing a shovel from a nearby store. He then drove to the Waitakere Ranges, a forested area of Auckland, where he buried Grace's body in a shallow grave. After the burial, he wasn't done covering his tracks. He was later seen disposing of additional items, taking clothes to a dry cleaner and even taking the rental car to a car wash in an effort to erase any remaining evidence. But by then, investigators were already closing in. His every step had been recorded, and those steps would become critical pieces in securing a conviction. Days later at Albert Park, Jesse Kempson was once again caught on CCTV, this time discarding items into a public trash bin in what appeared to be another attempt to cover his tracks. But by then, law enforcement was closing in fast. Within hours, they were ready to bring him in for questioning. As officers searched for him inside a building, Jesse unknowingly walked past, spotted them, and attempted to slip away unnoticed. But his escape was short-lived. Police quickly recognized him, caught up without delay, and escorted him straight to the interrogation room. His efforts to hide the truth had failed. His every move had been watched, recorded, and was now unraveling.
So I was talking to Grace on Tinder. We'd matched on Friday. I saw that we'd matched the next day on Saturday.
How did the evening pan out?
Yeah, pretty good. I didn't initially know that she was real.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of, so have you heard of catfish?
No.
So catfishing is where someone uses your profile, or uses your photos and pretends to be you and then meets, and you're a completely different person.
Right.
And it's happened to a few people I know in Australia, and it's all over the TV. So I thought, you know what, if I meet at Sky City, at least I know that there's lots of people around, so if it is someone that it's not, then I can just walk away.
How did the evening sort of come to an end?
There was a hug and a kiss on the cheek, and a thanks, nice meeting you. And then I said, let me know about tomorrow. And she said, okay. And then she kept walking.
We actually don't know if she's been murdered or not yet. She may be alive and well.
Okay.
But she might also be dead. Okay? And it could be that you've done it.
Hey, I just want to ask a question. Am I being arrested for something I didn't do?
You haven't been arrested, mate.
Oh. 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 Oh.
Despite Jesse's calm demeanor and attempts to feign innocence during initial questioning, investigators were steadily building their case. A search of his apartment revealed traces of blood, evidence he had tried but failed to scrub away. With this discovery, police brought Jesse back into the interrogation room, this time determined to confront him with the mounting proof and press for the truth he had worked so hard to conceal.
To me about 50 Shades of Grey, which is a sex fantasy movie that's out. We started having sex. At first it was just normal. It was very placid, and then she asked me if we could get into bondage, and then all I remember is falling asleep in the shower. I need to stop. I need to go.
Would you like some fresh air?
Yeah, please. I was in shock, and I didn't know what to do. I went downstairs, and I was just, I don't know, I was all over the place. I didn't believe what had happened. I was just terrified and scared. I thought that she had gone. I thought she had left.
Pathologist, specialist doctor will perform a post-mortem. They're very skilled at establishing people's causes of death. Do you understand that? Did you kill Grace Mullane? You're under arrest for the murder of Grace Mullane.
Jesse Kempson was formally charged and arrested for the murder of Grace Mullane. Investigators used data from his phone, his incriminating Google searches, GPS location history, and surveillance footage to track his movements and ultimately locate Grace's body, buried in a suitcase in the Waitakere Ranges. With overwhelming evidence against him, Kempson was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison, with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years. Justice, though delayed, was served. On the evening of May 28, 2025 in Windhoek, Namibia, 19-year-old Pia Skalipa had just finished collecting the day's earnings from his mother's small shop and was heading home. CCTV footage captured him walking along the street, attempting to hail a taxi, just another routine moment in his daily life. But less than 2 hours later, everything changed. At approximately 7:45 p.m., police officers discovered Pias gravely injured, suffering from a stab wound to the chest. With what little strength he had left, he whispered that 2 men had attacked him. Tragically, the injuries were too severe and Pias passed away shortly after due to blood loss.
My brother, he was one of the strongest people I knew. And he never let people who he cared about just suffer. He always helped.
I met Pius in grade 8. Like, he was a newcomer at my school and I became friends with him. We had our ups and downs, but he was always there for me and I was always there for him. For somebody to always sleep in the middle of the night knowing that I took a young boy's life, that still had a bright future ahead of him, knowing that you did that, I don't know how you are able to sleep. So it's pointless that you are even happy with what you did, instead of coming forward and say, I'm the one who did this and I feel this and this. But it really hurts me knowing that we have to come here knowing that we lost somebody that's very dear to us.
It was a seemingly senseless act of violence that cut a young life short. As of the most recent reports, those responsible for Pia Skalipa's death have yet to be identified or apprehended. His killers remain at large, leaving his family and community still searching for justice. Soaring above the snow-covered peaks of the Italian Alps, chilling GoPro footage captures the precise moment a helicopter and a tourist plane collide mid-air, just seconds after takeoff. The tragic incident occurred on January 25, 2019 above the Ruder Glacier in the Aosta Valley, roughly 50 miles from Turin. The footage, later recovered from 2 GoPro cameras found at the crash site, reveals the terrifying speed and force of the collision. In the aftermath, 7 people lost their lives, marking one of the region's most devastating aviation disasters in recent years. A gang-related shooting happened in broad daylight right outside a church, leaving 16-year-old Gavin dead and 18-year-old Daniel seriously wounded. The two were walking near the church when someone pulled up and things escalated fast. Several shots rang out, and neighbors started calling 911. By the time police showed up, the shooter had already taken off in a pickup truck. All that was left behind were bullet holes in the church walls, a red bag lying on the ground, and tire marks leading away from the scene.
Here, hang on. Let's pull this up. Where's the VIN?
Oh man, I don't even fucking know, fool. I just feel shit, man. Is that I took shit, man? Did you blow my balls or something?
I can't find it, man. There's an entry wound right there.
Do we have any suspect vehicles? Really bad?
Oh no, it's right here in the penis.
Negative, I don't believe any police saw anything. Please don't fucking make me lose my balls, man.
So you guys were just driving by?
We lived on the block. We were leaving our home and we were about to get in the truck to go to work early, and we heard like 6 or 7 shots. And then we came this way, and if the kid, if he didn't stick his hand out, I wouldn't have seen him.
So what do you mean stick his hand out?
He stuck his hand out like this.
Like, okay, waving you down?
Yeah, and then we stopped right there and we backed up, and then he started calling.
All right, man. I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to pull your shorts down to help.
All right, go ahead, man.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
When you ready?
Do it. Yeah. Just do it.
Hey.
Code 616.
Do you see an exit?
Is that hella bad, homie? You gotta fucking tell me, man.
Negative. Let's roll him on the side. See if there's a exit wound. There is right here. Okay. On this left, right.
Okay, and then you guys called?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a cigarette, there's this bag. Hey, we have a shooting. We have one down, possibly DOA right now, working on him. And one shot in the groin. It sounded like the echoing, it could have been coming from back that way.
Okay.
So
it looks like, yeah, the footprints come this way through the stuff, at least my impression of where we're at.
Yeah, I think he's done.
Yeah. Do you have a pulse? Okay, let's try at least compression.
1, 2, 3.
121.
Turns out the red bag belonged to Gavin. Inside it, police found a stolen gun, which only added to the suspicion that this was gang-related. A nearby home security camera actually caught the shooting on video, but someone tried to mess with the system and almost erased it. Investigators think the person was connected to the shooter. Thankfully, police managed to recover the footage, and it helped them ID the suspect.
Sounds like 2 pickups pulled up, a white one and a blue one. Okay. They were right in here, so he says there's no one else inside, but they got good cameras. Can you start working on getting the video footage from him?
They're not involved?
No, well, we don't know.
Did you see what happened?
I don't know. I was taking a shower because, I just got a haircut.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just heard that shit. I was like, what the fuck? I seen these 2 little guys running that way.
Okay. What'd you hear or see? Or?
Oh, I just heard the gunshots.
How many?
I don't know, man.
You're not sure how many?
No.
Okay. Did you see anyone over here in your yard or anything like that?
No.
As far as your cameras, did they work?
No, they don't. We just set them up. Wires got messed up from the wind and shit. My brother moved out, so he took the system with him.
Okay, did you hear anything out here?
No, I was in the shower, man.
You were in the shower?
Yeah,
okay.
Showering, just got back from my haircut.
Okay. Where's the camera system you said?
It was in the room.
Which room?
No, right.
To the right. This one right here?
No, behind.
Left.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And is it easy to find?
No. Well, it's gone.
So there's no system left here?
It's just wires.
Just wires?
From what I know, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if they've been bringing shit back, so.
Okay.
You know.
Did you see a DVR in there?
Yeah.
There is one?
Yeah. Supposedly brother moved out and took it with him. The cameras don't work.
Okay.
Dad was saying they do work earlier.
Okay. Do you want to take him to the station and you and Adam start interviewing him?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be critical. I'll start processing the scene. We've got at least 8 cases here.
Okay.
And that's what witnesses are, 7 to 8. Okay.
People who lived near the scene, including a guy named Luis, whose house was right next to where it all went down, were questioned. Most of them gave sketchy answers or said they didn't see anything. Luis claimed he was in the shower when it happened, but other details in camera footage told a different story. Cops believe some neighbors kept quiet out of fear because they knew the people involved.
Before the shooting, you heard the gunshots? Before that, what was Luis doing?
I don't know. Probably in his room.
Okay.
Like I said, I was just in my room.
Which one's your room?
Who is your nephew?
Gavin.
Okay. Okay. This is what I will do. Do you live around here?
I do. I live right over here on Marina, and I hadn't seen him for a while, and then he came over last night, knocked on the door, and I said, can I get a place to stay? And I said, sure, you can stay overnight, Gavin. And then he left, I don't know, around 11 or so, and he said he was going to be in the neighborhood.
Just walking by, man.
Okay.
Literally. I had nothing to do with it. Came out, boom. That's what I see.
What was with the red bag?
I seen the red bag on the floor on the ground. That's all I seen.
Okay. When we review the recorded video surveillance, it's not going to show you out here whatsoever engaging with these people.
It'll show whatever.
Okay. That's it. Took a shower and that was it.
Yeah, that's my statement, man. I don't want to say anything else. They're just trying to finesse me.
No, I'm not, man. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, you are.
What do you mean? No, I'm saying is you're in the shower for 20 minutes, and then what happened then? Did you hear gunshots?
Yeah, I told you at my house. I heard gunshots. I look at the window. Red bag right there.
Eventually, Daniel, the one who survived, agreed to talk. He told police that Serrano had walked up and asked, "What do you bang?" basically asking which gang they were in. Both teens admitted their affiliations, and right after that, Serrano opened fire. Daniel was shot in the groin but survived. Gavin was hit badly, and Daniel tried to help him, but Gavin collapsed near the church and later died from his wounds. The truck's license plate led cops to 26-year-old Daniel Serrano. They found him at a house and arrested him after a short standoff.
I got 40.
Daniel Serrano Sosa, you're under arrest. Come outside.
Hey, if he comes out, you're lethal, less lethal. Serrano, come to us. Come to us.
There's no escape out here.
Yep.
Daniel Serrano Sosa, you're under arrest. This is the police department.
One window. One to the room. Receive.
Your hands up. Stop. Stop there. Stop there. Turn around. Put your hands on top of your head. Interlace your fingers.
Play over here, man. I got you. Transition out.
Walk. Walk.
Take the door.
Keep walking. Keep walking.
Okay. Get to your knees. Drop your knees. Here.
Investigators later found out Gavin had been in a fight earlier that same day. He'd also posted gang-related stuff online and might have been planning to get back at someone. That gave police a better idea what led up to the shooting. Serrano eventually pleaded guilty. He got 15 years for second-degree murder and another 10 years for first-degree assault. The whole situation is just another example of how deadly gang violence can be, especially for teenagers. Not long after Gavin was killed, another teen, a 14-year-old, was shot and killed in a separate drive-by in the same area, showing just how serious and ongoing this issue really is. Thanks for watching. Stay vigilant, friends.